So originally, I wanted to start this review with some sort of parody cover of Toto's Africa. You know how these mice were blessed down in Africa, but that wasn't the case. They hired a production company from Ohio to fly out to California to film the ritual there. Meaning your mouse was not blessed by the gods in Capetown, but gooch rubbed in Malibu. So it's like, what? This is probably just a stock photo or something? They wouldn't do that. Oh. But enough with all that. What's up, guys? I'm Random Frank P, and today we're going to be reviewing the Finalmouse Ultralight to Capetown, a highly anticipated video. This isn't going to follow my usual format of reviews. What we're going to do is do an overview, like a feature breakdown of the mouse, talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then my experience with this mouse. I've been using this as my main mouse for around 2 weeks now, so I feel like I'm ready to drop this video for you guys. So first off, just taking a look at it, it doesn't look visually too different than what we've seen in the past from Finalmouse, which is kind of a bummer because, during production, all their tweets made it seem like this was something absolutely revolutionary, completely different, but when we saw it, it wasn't that groundbreaking. Now aesthetically, sticking with the whole Capetown kind of theme here, they went with a darker burnt orange for the cable and the scroll wheel, and this raw composite material for the mouse itself, which is kind of like a tan or khaki or ivory kind of color. But the big selling point about this is it's their smallest and most lightweight mouse to date. And that is the case. It is definitely smaller than what we've seen with the Air 58. It's smaller than the Model O-, which I just reviewed yesterday. And it is the smallest mouse I have tried. It is 115.8 millimeters long, 53.5 millimeters wide at the waist, and 35.7 millimeters tall at its highest point. Now to put that into perspective with the Model O, it is pretty much 5 millimeters shorter and 5 millimeters thinner. They also claimed it is 47 grams, but like we've seen with their previous mice, that weight is more so just the actual mouse itself. It never really includes the cable. So when you put it on a scale, it's anywhere from 52 grams and above. And then you start to add on these new foam composites or foamposite, and the weight will start to go up from there. But no, you're not gonna have a 47 gram mouse. But it's also one of the newer features to this mouse is these modular pieces of sticky foam that you can apply to the sides and the back of the mouse to sort of build it up so it fits your hand. Inside the box, they include 3 different packs of their infinity skins, and they're all different thicknesses from 1.2 millimeters up to 2.5 millimeters. So again, you put these on, you stick them on your mouse to kind of get a better grip for your hand size, for your play style. Returning is the same PMW 3360 sensor with DPIs from 400, 800, 1600, and 3200. You still have the DPI button right beneath the scroll wheel to shift between them. So now let's start to get to the things I like. And first off, one of the things that stuck out to me was the newer switches they used inside, and they actually did reconstruct the scroll wheel. For a sound test, I will say that these are probably the sharpest and most tactile switches I've seen in a mouse. Hopefully you can hear that from the mic, but it definitely feels very satisfying. Now there were a lot of issues with the Air 58 scroll wheel, and they said that now with this mouse, it's a completely new construction and it's built to last. Visually, when you take them apart, they look the same, but they do feel worlds different. So I don't know what they did inside, but yes, that's improved. What I'm also happy about is the new mouse feet we have here. It's a completely different cut and a new percentage and mixture of PTFE. These feel much more on par with like hyperglides and stuff, and on the mouse pad, it feels much more smooth, definitely not as scratchy as the Air 58. And they also fixed their cable, which is the Phantom cord. It is definitely a thinner, tighter braid. Again, on my Air 58 model, that got bunched up like right out of the box. You could see the kinks. It's one of the things I complained about in that review. This time around, no kinks or bunches anywhere, so it's thinner, it's tighter, and it's still equally as lightweight. Oh my God, Random Frank P, are they paying you to say positive things? No, like I said, those are the things I liked. Now we're gonna move on to the things I don't like. For starters, one of the more minor things is the actual visual aesthetics of this. The raw composite shell and the burnt orange just does not look good, I don't think. While the colors of the Air 58 were, very vibrant, they didn't really fit in with a lot of setups, but I would have preferred some, more neutral colors versus this. Now, one of the reasons they went with the raw composite material is because of these infinity skins. It's meant so you could, continually take these on and off over time. And, if there were paint on this mouse, that would start to wear down visually. So this is, kind of what we're left with. It just, to me, it feels like a prototype. It doesn't look like a finished product, but I will say also, because of the color of this material, it's gonna be less prone to showing, dirt and stains over time. But that also leads into the point of these Infinity skins. These are gonna damage, and well, not damage, but get stained pretty quickly. I would assume you could wash them down and stuff. I don't really know. But I have seen people on Twitter send me photos of their Infinity skins after like a week, and they are like completely just stained and dirty looking. I didn't want to show that off in this review because I don't know if they were purposely done like that just for me to include in here to show off for you guys. So I don't know if that's legit or not, but I will say after around a week of having these on, because I tested it, the majority of this review just without the Infinity skins, I do see some sort of minor like yellowing and tinting on the sides of the Infinity skins, and I'm someone who never eats in my studio, and I wash my hands pretty consistently. So that's kind of troubling to see. But if you're using this for months and a year, I would definitely want to see how this holds up over the long term. Now for me, since I have skins on the left and right side, one of the things that kind of sucks is it makes it much more difficult to accurately press these side buttons, because now it's more so sitting flush up against the buttons. Usually the buttons would stick out and you'd be able to distinguish where they are, but with the Infinity skins, it's not really as apparent anymore. Now I am using the thicker Infinity skin on that side, so that's just, my particular combination. But I did want to point that out because I did, make some errors when trying to press these in game. So besides the actual visuals and stuff, what I don't like about the mouse, before we get into my experience, one thing I will say is I am kind of disappointed, like I alluded to before, with, the overall design. We were hoping for something new. And all along on Twitter, they just made it seem like it was something revolutionary, something we've never seen. And it is still what we've seen, just with the addition now of these Infinity skins. What I was envisioning this whole time, what I was hoping for, was actually some sort of foam mouse. That probably sounds stupid, but as a joke, Corsair just released this like rage-proof foam mouse. It's essentially a stress ball, but that is exactly what I was envisioning. Now, duh, I understand that's not really like a possibility because of the sensor and the clicks, but that's what I was envisioning. So how has gaming been with this? I have to bring up the Model O- because in that review yesterday, I said that took me a while to get used to because it was a lot smaller. I started testing that before I tested this, so that made the transition to using a smaller version of that a little bit easier, but it still took me a while. This is just a lot smaller than it might appear to you. You probably see it in photos and videos online, but it's actually a lot different when you actually get it in your hand. This thing is tiny. Now, I am definitely a fingertip gripper, and this is my grip. I usually bunch my fingers up down here at my ring finger and pinky finger. And I had to put double the foam on here. This is 2 of the thickest foam, just so I can get a better grip, so it's more comfortable down here. But it's just insanely small. Now, for some people, I understand that's what they want. They might have smaller hands, they might be younger, and they desire a smaller mouse. But for me, it's just not the mouse for me. It's too small. But once I, fully made that transition and got used to this mouse with the Infinity skins on the side, gaming was great. I had 0 issues, the sensor was fine, really nothing to complain about in terms of its actual performance. Like I said, just the size isn't for me. So before we wrap this all up, 2 things I have to point out relating to that fiasco you might have seen on Twitter. First is, I got my order in 3 minutes after these went live on their website. The order went through, my card was charged, and then a week later, the charge disappeared and never heard about it. I reached out to them, they didn't know what happened. They admitted that phantom charges rarely happen, but who knows? I figured, I was on sort of gremlin list and my order got canceled. I said, hey, you canceled my order. They clapped back on Twitter. I posted a screenshot of them saying like, from last month that we went through and we were canceling a lot of bot orders. Yours might have been canceled in then, so I figured that's what happened. Regardless, I have both my orders. The one that I've been using for the past few weeks, I got from a viewer actually. And then the one I just got in yesterday was from their extension pre-order batch. So I do have the 2 in, just not my original order. Take that for what you will. I don't know what happened. I'm willing just to let it all go because I did get my hands on them. But this one that I just got from the pre-order, the extension just got delivered, like I said, yesterday, which is well over a month after these were, up for purchase. So the 7 to 14 days that they promised didn't really happen, whatever. And secondly, I do have to admit faults, because in my Air 58, one of the things that I trashed them for was saying how they're lying that they don't have people in the warehouse being taken out of shipping to answer customer support emails. But apparently, that's what they did. They said that they have a very small team, and people from their logistics teams also works on the customer support. I didn't believe that. That's what they told me, though, so I have to take it for what it's worth, and I will admit fault if that is the case. So in the end, is this mouse worth it? It's tough to say because you can't buy this anymore. They sold out right away. But it's also $120, which I think is crazy. Things like the Razer Viper, which was, I believe, $80? Even that was kind of high for what it was, considering you have people like now Cooler Master putting out a relatively similar mouse at a cheaper price point. You know, the Model O and the Model O Minus at $50 and $60. So doubling that for $120 is pretty crazy. It's a good mouse. Like I said in my Air 58 review, it's a great mouse. It works fine for me. It's unlike something I've tried before because of these Infinity skins. It's just not for me. It's too expensive and you can't buy them. Now, I will be doing a modification video coming up featuring this mouse where I'm going to add a different cable, give it a new paint job. So be on the lookout for that. But I figured I just want to get this video out there because my experience has been something that people have been talking about, and I figured I'd get this out so you guys can know. It's a great mouse, it's just too expensive and you can't purchase it anymore. They're making shoes. So that'll wrap it up for my review of the Ultralight Capetown. Hope you enjoyed. If you like this review, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.